Hello, salespersons of all makes, models, and brands. My name is Chance, and thank you so much for tuning into another episode of The Sales Bible. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of the most classic, original, and timeless layouts of the sales process. That's right, today we're going to be taking a look at the infamous Foursquare. To be honest, this particular layout has been at virtually every dealership I've been at. It's safe to assume you're going to find this in one form, fashion, or another at your dealership. I've seen some pretty complicated ones throughout the years, but it kind of touches on the essence of what it is to sell a car. Now, without further ado, let's actually take a look at the Foursquare so we know exactly what we're talking about and how to present it. So, the Foursquare itself, if you haven't been able to figure it out by just me talking about it, is a sheet of paper breaking down into 4 individual quadrants. Each quadrant represents something a little bit different, but fundamentally there are only really 4 aspects to the sale. And that is, starting from the top left-hand corner, the price of the vehicle, and in the top right-hand of the corner, you're going to have the trade value. Bottom left-hand side will show the money down, and bottom right-hand side will show the payment. Now, let's get into the price of the vehicle. So, most dealerships, it'll just be the price of the vehicle, usually plus GST. Some dealerships will list freight and PDI separately, but for the most part, it's the price of the vehicle. It's essentially their walk-out-the-door price. Now let's look at the trade value for a second. So the trade value, now this is my personal preference. Usually the best way to lay out the trade value is to show the other bids for their vehicle. Traditionally speaking, it's safe to assume every dealership in your area uses the same 4 or 5 programs for determining trade-in values. And it's also safe to assume that you have access to see what other vehicles have gone for in the area in the past and what other vehicles are currently listed for in the present. Using this is how dealerships typically get their trade-in values, so it's a good idea to show what other dealerships would offer them for their vehicle in way of doing a bid 1, bid 2, or offer 1 or offer 2. And then your offer down at the bottom, usually just make it so you're a couple $100 above. There's no real reason to go above and beyond for people's trades. Just bear in mind that you have to buy them with the intent of reselling them for a profit, so giving them retail for their trade just isn't going to happen. We did another video a little bit earlier on the not enough money for my trade objection, so please check that out if you have any problems. Now let's move on to the bottom left-hand corner here. This is the money down area. Typically, you're going to want at least 10% down. Typically, it just guarantees a better approval, gets them a lower payment, and shows that they're committed to actually owning this vehicle in the long run, so lenders and banks will look at their loan favorably. I usually like to provide people 2 different options here, 2 to 4, depending on how I'm laying it out. So 2 options in terms of different amounts of money down, and then a potential 4 separate payment options. That being said, let's actually take a look at the payments right now. So currently in here, I have $174.09 bi-weekly for 60 months, and that would be with the $2,500 down, or $165.18 bi-weekly for 60 months with the $3,500 down. Now, the reason you typically want to lay it out this way is to show them how much of an impact money down can actually have in terms of getting to their desired payment. It'll also keep things realistic in terms of what they can expect off, which is great. Now, in other cases, I actually provide 4 payment options. So, in addition to showing them the payment with their amount down, I also show them one at a longer or a shorter term, depending on what their financial needs analysis revealed. Ideally, I don't want people making payments any longer than they have to. Reason being is I like the idea of repeat business more than I like the idea of making a lot of money off of one person one time. And as you'll get more and more experience in the industry, you'll start to develop the same method of thinking. So just bear that in mind when you desk your deals. And that is essentially the Foursquare in terms of how it's laid out. Now, in terms of how you're going to present it, how I usually do it is something to the following. Great news, John. I spoke with my manager and I had him work some numbers, and I think you'll be more than happy with what we have to offer you. So price of the vehicle, as we discussed, is $25,988, and we only add GST here. I'm not going to add any hidden fees or anything like that. We like when things are nice, simple, and transparent. In terms of your trade-in value, how our computer usually does it and how our appraiser does it is we see what your vehicle is typically going for in the area. We like to keep it nice and local. Typically, you get better trade-in values that way. So we got a couple neighboring bids in the area, one coming in at $4,000 and one coming in at $4,250. So personally, we think those are a little low. So what we're going to do, just based on the fact that your vehicle is kept in such great shape, is we're going to offer you quite a bit more. So we're going to offer you $5,000 for it. Now, as you requested, I showed you payments with both the $2,500 down and $3,500 down if you were able to reach that far. Now let's take a look at the payments. So we desk our deals typically at 60 months. Reason being is I don't want to keep you in a loan for any longer than you have to, and ultimately the interest rates are usually better at this point anyways. So you're looking at $174.09 with the $2,500 down, or $165.18 with the $3,500 down. So out of these two options, what works best for you, John? And then you just wait, hand him the pen, get him to initial beside the one that works best for him, and you're pretty much good to go. And that's also how I typically get people to sign at First Pencil. I will be doing a separate video on that altogether, but that's kind of the gist of it. So let me know if you guys use the Foursquare or not and what your experiences are with it. My biggest bone of contention with it personally is it's just easy for customers to pick it apart. For example, all they got to do is be like, well, that number needs to go down, that one needs to go up, this one needs to go down, and so does this one. And you just got to keep it realistic with them. That being said, I do really like how simple it is. I do really like how easy it is to understand, and I really like how easy it is to present as well. So there's certainly upside to it, but let me know what you guys use, and let me know if you have any cool tips or different ways to use the Foursquare, different ways to explain it. Please let me know all that down beneath in the comments section. I'm really curious, and I know everyone tuning in will as well. That being said, I hope you have a great day, and as always, happy selling.